Welcome to the Leinn Arts Talks. Leinn Arts Talks is our concept of little interviews and inspiring stories that until now we have been doing in our Insta Live sessions with people that inspire us from the creative fields. And today we have the pleasure to be with Urtzi, and this time face to face, so it's a really special one. So we've been these days in Berlin, also getting to know the studio space or the workshop space that Urtzi's been working on, and had this chance to have a breakfast together and get to know each other more. And I'm sure you will do it better than me. So Urtzi, maybe you can share a bit about yourself, who you are, what you do.
So my name is Urtzi Urkixo. I came to Berlin in 2015 with an Erasmus grant, and when my studying period ended, I decided to stay in Berlin. So here's the book I did for my final the thesis of the university. It's called Feierabend. Feierabend is the name of so it's a word, a German word they use when German people finish working. Okay, it's Feiern is party or free time, and Abend is night.
Yeah.
It's so it's basically free afternoon time.
Cool.
Yeah, and I am talking about the impact of architecture and urbanism in society, and how since the beginning when I arrived to Berlin the urbanism impacted me, and how my life changed within the time. Yeah.
That's super interesting. And how did everything start? Which was your connection to arts or printmaking since when you were a little, or?
Good question. So when I was in the university in Bilbao, so in second year we had a small class focused on printmaking, and in 2 months we had time we needed to have time to make lots of different techniques such as dry point, xylography, lithography, copper, silk screen printing, everything, and we didn't have time to understand them, just to get to know those techniques. And since the beginning I was really interested in that, so for me these 2 months were nothing, so I had to find another space to develop my knowledge, and I found a squatted place in Bilbao, where I went there when I was 18 or 19. I was pretty young, and they trust me, so they gave me the key, and since the beginning I was pretty I didn't know nothing, so I started looking at videos on YouTube and reading books, so I could basically develop my knowledge without any help. So
yeah, one of the things that you've been sharing with us these days that really inspired us was, in a way, your hunger to learn. Or you were mentioning that when you came to Berlin you ended up going to Bethanien, and just by who you were and entering so pure, you could do your internship there. Maybe you can tell us a bit about the different experiments you had with Bethanien, with Bauhaus, that you...
So when I was 22, I think I was pretty young, so I just went to Bethanien. I didn't know anything about that place, and I think I gave such a good feeling to the person, to Gloria. She's the girl who is running the like engraving workshop, and she offered me a practicum or like an internship, and I stayed with her for about 3 months, and it was such a great experience, and it gave me the motivation I needed for like focusing. So after that internship, I decided I wanted to be a printmaker. So it was such a great experience, and since then I'm like, I think I have a huge debt with Gloria. So.
And are you still doing something together, or are you being connected somehow?
No, but I just visit her from time to time, and yeah. So I think sometimes when you develop your project, you sometimes meet some person that simply touch you, and I think some person will never be forgiven.
Yeah.
So at least this is my case.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, as in any field, but in creative industries too, like the connection making is really important. And maybe on that, like, which have been your learning? So you're thinking on other young artists that they want to come to Berlin, or they want to find their way here. Like, what do you think can, like, or are the important lessons learned from your case, for example, on how to start here or how to?
In my case, it was a really tough job. I mean, it took me some years until I could say I do what I love, and still I have a lot to learn. But I mean, the most important thing is to not desist. Like, many times, for example, me, and I think it happens to everybody, like every freelancer or every like worker, sometimes they get a negative feedback from the customers or from whoever, and this of course like brings you sad, but this shouldn't be a gap for your like project, you know. So of course I think Berlin is a pretty difficult city. It's from one side it's pretty cool. There's a lot of creatives and lots of artists, but at the same time there's a big fight.
Yeah, a lot of competition.
I mean, if I can give one tip to your students, is to like not desist. Yeah.
Not to give up.
Yeah, not to give up. Yeah, sorry.
And one of the things that I like that was super interesting to us in conversations with you is how somehow you have found a way to diversify what you do. So maybe you can share a bit more about the different roles that you have on your own work, working with other artists.
Yeah. So basically what gave me my main idea of developing my own art with printmaking is some kind of knowledge on the technique, which in my opinion not everybody has. So because you need first of all one space or some kind of tools. I do like silk screen printing, so of course you need a space or an atelier. So not everybody has that. Of course, for example, I have never done a sculpture, so because I don't have a sculpture atelier and I never had it. So the point is, with the time I could develop my own project, I could also get longer skills in the technique. So this gave me the possibility to not only produce my artwork, but produce artwork for other artists. And this for me is it's my main focus, right now on like to could develop not only my artwork but artwork for other artists. Yeah. And yeah, at the same time I also produce my own series and my own things. Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw some really cool stuff yesterday. I hope we can share it with everyone on the other side of the screen too. And you were also mentioning that one part of the in a way your monthly routine is to sell your pieces on the Mauer Park, right?
Not in the Mauer Park,
Or
but I go usually to like some other markets in Berlin, and yeah, I think there is a big small business in Berlin. I mean big small because there's a lot of people selling like smaller stuff and cheaper stuff than people selling bigger and more expensive stuff. So I know a bunch of artists in Berlin who sell their own creations in markets or small shops, and of course it's possible.
Yeah, cool. And yes, there's been so many things that we've been discovering about you these days that has inspired us. So one of the things also is in a way your character on even you live in Berlin, you've been able to create like opportunities also in Bilbao or in New York, or like how do you live this part of I don't know, somehow like a worldwide or nomad artist, or what has been like keys of that to you? Or
I mean, living abroad is a handicap, so just for the simple reason of living somewhere else, you are you need to make you are mandatory. You have to make a life in a different place. Like for example, my family lives pretty far, and I have to go at least once or twice a year there. So this is not a choice, of course, but also I think nowadays we live in a globalized world, and this makes also easier to travel and to have friends all around. So with the time I could make a small contacts in many different places, and wherever I go, like on holidays with my parents or with my friends, I visit a different workshop, or it's everything with the help of Instagram or social networks. It's so easy, and it's part of the globalized world we are living in. So of course it has good points and bad points. So
and one thing that has been very bubbly these days is that somehow as the world is changing, and this year has been like a very special one in many ways, what do you think that are like the skill sets that the artists need in one future, or is there something that you feel that is shifting that
this I cannot answer, like every artist is different. I met lots of different people and different projects, and some projects are like, some projects work, some projects don't work, and I don't think there is a specific profile for an artist, so I cannot answer this question. So like every person is different, and there's something like unknown that makes those projects happen. So if I could know this answer, like I don't know. So
part of the magic is that we don't know, right? That's a cool perspective to look at it. And one thing that we always like to ask our guests at the Leinn Arts Talks is, as we see you as passionate artists or people that do what they love, like how would you describe that feeling or that sensation when you are working with your art, or when you are working with something that really matters to you?
Wow, that's an interesting question. So I remember since I was 19, I wanted to do what I do at the moment. And it was a really tough fight. Like, I was like maybe the first, so the last, I don't know, since I was 19 or 20 until I was 24, I was doing everything for free or in exchange of hugs or smiles. But now, so when I finally realized that I was doing what I wanted to do as my daily job, it was such a great experience, like not this experience but such a great feeling. So I was happy, but then I had another small problem, so I had a big question. So my question was, what do you want to do next? So now you got what you wanted, what is next?
Yeah.
And this is of course a big life question. So, but of course when I realized I was doing what I wanted to do since really long time, I was like super happy.
So we'll keep you updated on what's happening with the next explorations of Urtzi. Thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing your tips and thoughts and feelings. And looking forward to do more things with you in Berlin.
Yeah, thank you so much.